You know that feeling when you finally made it? Not almost there, not soon, actually made it. The kind of moment where you can afford to stop dreaming and start deciding. And the decision you're about to make, the one involving 6 figures and a badge that turns heads before you've even pressed the accelerator. That decision deserves better than a dealership brochure and a salesman on commission. Because here's the truth, nobody in that showroom is going to tell you. The 992 Porsche 911 is not one car, it's 12. And if you walk in without a map, you will spend more money than you need to on a version that's close to perfect, but not yours. Not the one that makes you feel something every single morning when you hit the key. Not the one you're still talking about at 60. I've been inside this world long enough to know the difference between a good 911 purchase and a great one. Today I'm giving you the exact briefing I gave my closest friend before they signed the check. We're going to find your 992, the right engine, the right spec, the right options, the non-negotiables, so that when that flat 6 fires up behind your shoulders for the very first time, there is zero doubt in your mind. This is the golden spec. Let's build your 911. The first thing I need you to genuinely understand, not just hear but understand, is that the 992 generation is a spectrum, a deliberately engineered, surgically segmented lineup, where every single variant was built for a different kind of driver. This isn't like choosing between trim levels on a family sedan. Getting this wrong means spending 6 figures on a car that never quite connects with you. And that feeling, that quiet nagging sense that something's slightly off every time you get in, is the most expensive feeling in the world. So let me break it down in a way that actually means something. The base Carrera is where the journey starts, and I want to be very clear with you. Starting here is not a compromise. The 992 Carrera runs a 3.0 liter twin turbocharged flat 6 producing 379 horsepower. It hits 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds. It looks absolutely unapologetically identical to the GTS from 20 feet away. If you're buying a 992 as a genuine daily driver, something that handles a Monday morning commute with the same confidence it handles a Saturday canyon run, the base Carrera deserves serious consideration. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're settling, because you're not. Then there's the Carrera T, and this is a car for a very specific kind of person. If you felt something just now when I said the word manual, if your pulse moved even slightly, then pay attention. Porsche built the T as the purest entry point. It sits on the base engine, but it comes standard with a shorter throw manual gearbox and rear-wheel drive only. No all-wheel drive option. No electronic safety net beyond what's absolutely necessary. The T is lighter, rawer, and more communicative than any other 992 at its price point. It's Porsche asking you a direct question. Do you want to drive, or do you want to arrive? The T is only for people whose answer is unambiguously the former. Now, the Carrera S. This is where most of you should be leaning forward. The S takes that 3.0 liter twin turbo and pushes it to 443 horsepower. That extra 64 horses over the base car doesn't just change the numbers, it reshapes the entire personality of the engine. The mid-range pull is stronger, the top end has a sense of real urgency, and the gap between quick and genuinely fast closes in a way you feel immediately. The S also gets larger brakes, and in 4S guys, that wider body that gives the 911 its most authoritative stance. Spec it right, and we're going to talk about exactly how to do that in part 2, and you have a car that rivals anything in the world at twice the price for everyday driving satisfaction. The Carrera S is the 992 that makes the most complete coherent argument for itself of any car in the range. And then there is the GTS. I've called the GTS a tailor-made suit with a jet engine attached, and I will defend that description to my last breath. The GTS takes the S engine and pushes it to 473 horsepower. But the number is almost beside the point. What Porsche actually did with the GTS was take every single option that serious 911 buyers were ticking on the S. The sport exhaust, the sport chassis, the interior race text elements, the PDCC on the 4-wheel drive variant, and made all of it standard equipment at a price that genuinely undercuts what most buyers were spending to reach the same specification anyway. The GTS is the factory dream build. It is without any hesitation the best value proposition in the entire 992 lineup. It also sits at the most precise intersection of daily usability and weekend aggression that I've ever experienced in a road car. It isn't a turbo. It doesn't have that almost overwhelming mechanical surge of 572 horsepower that starts to feel genuinely intimidating on a public road. The GTS communicates with you. It rewards you. Drive it back to back with a Turbo S and the difference in philosophy becomes immediately obvious. The Turbo S is a monologue, brilliant and relentless. The GTS is a conversation, and some of us find that far more satisfying over the long run. Let's talk about the options, because this is where most buyers quietly make their biggest mistakes. When you're sitting in front of a Porsche configurator for the first time, the options list feels endless. 17 shades of leather, 4 types of seat belt, 14 wheel designs, and somewhere buried in that avalanche of choices are 3 or 4 decisions that will define whether your 992 feels like a genuinely special machine or just a very expensive car. I call these the non-negotiables. The options that don't just add features, they change the fundamental character of the car. Get these right and everything else is cosmetic. Get these wrong and no amount of exterior color or stitch pattern will save you. The first non-negotiable is PASM, Porsche Active Suspension Management. This is the adaptive damping system that allows the 992 to exist in 2 completely different worlds depending on what you need from it. In comfort mode, PASM transforms the 911 into something that genuinely surprises people, a car that absorbs road imperfections with a maturity and smoothness that has no business existing in a rear-engine sports car. Switch it to sport, and the body stiffens, the responses sharpen, and the car becomes something entirely different, something purposeful, something that communicates every surface change through the steering wheel and seat in a language that makes you a better driver just by listening. Without PASM, the 992 rides on a fixed suspension that splits the difference between those 2 worlds, and in splitting the difference it fully achieves neither. PASM is not a luxury option. It is the option that makes the 992 the most capable everyday sports car on the planet, because it lets the car be whatever you need it to be exactly when you need it. The second non-negotiable is the sport exhaust, and I want to be very precise about why, because it goes beyond the obvious. Yes, the sport exhaust makes the 992 louder, but that description does it a serious disservice. What the sport exhaust actually does is unlock the acoustic personality that Porsche's engineers spent years engineering into that flat 6. Without it, the 992 sounds good, composed and authoritative at idle, competent under acceleration. With it, the car sounds alive. Under hard acceleration, particularly in Sport and Sport Plus mode, there is a depth and a rasp and a mid-range bark that connects you emotionally to the engine in a way that no specification sheet can capture. Sound is underrated as a purchase criterion, and the reason I push back on that is simple. You spend more time hearing your car than almost any other sensory experience it provides. The sport exhaust ensures that every single drive, from the moment you start the engine in your garage to the moment you park it, is an event rather than a transaction. The third non-negotiable is rear axle steering. This one surprises people because it sounds like a track-focused engineering detail rather than something that matters on a daily basis. But rear axle steering might be the single option that most dramatically changes how the 992 feels to live with. At low speeds, the rear wheels turn in the opposite direction to the front, effectively shortening the car's turning circle and making it feel nimble and precise in tight urban environments, parking lots, narrow streets, the kind of situations where a wide sports car can start to feel like a burden. At higher speeds, the rear wheels turn in the same direction as the fronts, increasing stability and giving the car a planted, confidence-inspiring composure that makes fast road driving feel almost effortless. It makes a large, sophisticated machine feel smaller when you want small, and more secure when you need secure. It is, in my opinion, one of the most intelligently engineered options on the entire car. Now let's talk about the inside, because the interior of your 992 is the space you will occupy every single time you drive it, and it deserves more than a 30-second decision. Porsche gives you 2 primary interior directions, and they represent genuinely different philosophies about what a 911 cabin should feel like. The first is full leather. And when Porsche says leather, I want you to understand they are not talking about the sanitized plasticky hide you find in most luxury cars. The leather in a properly specified 992 is thick, rich, and deeply tactile. It has a smell that is almost impossible to describe to someone who hasn't experienced it. Warm and substantial, like the interior of a private members club that's been open for 40 years. In softer colors, chalk, bordeaux, red, cognac, a full leather 992 interior has an elegance that feels closer to a grand tourer than a sports car, and on long journeys that matters enormously. The second direction is Racetex, and this is the choice that changes the entire emotional register of the cabin. Racetex is Porsche's microfiber material, lightweight, grippy, and unambiguously motorsport derived. Where full leather says refined and mature, Racetex says purposeful and focused. The steering wheel becomes something you grip rather than hold. The seat surfaces keep you planted under lateral load in a way leather simply cannot match. And visually, particularly in a darker interior spec, Racetex gives the cabin a tautness and intentionality that makes every drive feel slightly more serious. The GTS comes with Racetex elements as standard, which is one of the many reasons I keep returning to it as the definitive recommendation. My honest advice on this decision is straightforward. If you drive your 992 primarily on the road, and you value long-distance comfort and aesthetic warmth, lean into full leather and do not feel conflicted about it. If you drive with more intensity, if you track the car occasionally, or if you simply want the cabin to remind you every single time you sit down that this machine was built around the act of driving, Racetex is the correct answer. Now the context that makes 2026 a genuinely fascinating moment to be buying a 992. We are at the end of an era, the 992.1. The generation we've been discussing this entire video is the last pure internal combustion 911 in recent Porsche history. The 992.2, which has now arrived, introduces a hybrid T-hybrid powertrain that integrates an electric motor into the drivetrain in a way that fundamentally changes the character of the engine response. The numbers are impressive, the performance metrics are extraordinary, but the 992.2 is a different machine philosophically, and I think it's worth saying that plainly. The 992.1 is analog in a way that the hybrid generation simply cannot replicate. The throttle response, the engine note, the direct, unmediated relationship between your right foot and the rear wheels, these are qualities that belong specifically to this generation. And right now, as the market transitions to the 992.2, 992.1 inventory is becoming a very interesting proposition. Dealers are motivated, prices on outgoing stock are more negotiable than they've been in years, and you have the opportunity to buy what I genuinely believe is one of the most complete driver's cars ever produced at a moment when the market is temporarily looking the other way. If you want the hybrid future, the 992.2 is ready for you, and it is sensational on its own terms. But if you want the last chapter of the pure 911 story, the car that connects you to 60 years of flat 6 heritage without an electric motor mediating the conversation, the window to buy a 992.1 at the right price is open right now. It will not stay open indefinitely. So here is my final verdict, and I'll make it as direct as I possibly can. If you want the best all-round 992 at the best value, buy the GTS. Spec it with PSM, sport exhaust and rear axle steering. Choose Racetex on the seats and steering wheel. Find a 992.1 with the right color, the right gearbox for your driving style, and do not overthink the rest. If budget is the primary constraint, the Carrera S, with those same 3 options, gets you 90% of the GTS experience at a meaningfully lower price. It is not a consolation prize, it is a masterpiece. And if you are the driver who values connection above all else, who wants the most unfiltered, honest relationship with the road that a modern 911 can offer, find a Carrera T with a manual gearbox and never look back. Whatever you choose, know this: you are not just buying a car, you are buying into a lineage, a philosophy, a community of people who understood at some point in their lives that the way a machine makes you feel matters as much as what it can do. The 992 will make you feel something every single time. I can promise you that. Welcome to the club. Now go find your 911. And before we go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check the links in the descriptions for best car products. Until next video, see you soon.